You're listening to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Ryan Hill.
I'm John Galantis.
You can find us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions for Dr. Shah or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028, or you can email us at contact@clearviewtodayshow.com.
That's right. We want to help you guys help us keep the conversation moving forward. You can do that by supporting the show. You should share it online with your friends and family. Leave us a good 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasting content from. We're going to leave a couple of links right there so you can do just that.
The verse of the day today is coming from Matthew chapter 7, verse 29. For he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes.
That's kind of like a
little clap back there, a little jab at the scribes.
Because they thought they had authority. Yeah. They thought they were the authority.
Yeah.
But you know, when you teach with the authority of Christ, it actually comes with a sense of humility. But it's kind of funny because when you truly teach with the authority of Christ, it does come with some humility. Mm-hmm. You know, those who grasp for authority are usually the ones who end up without it, and it's by design. God made it that way.
Yeah, the scribes were trying to teach us people who were grasping at authority. You put that very well. They were after authority, but Jesus had authority. He didn't need to pretend to be something else.
Right.
He is the Son of God, so when he spoke, it carried weight, and people responded to that.
That's right, and there's no greater authority under heaven and in earth than God's word, and we want to present that with you every single day right here on the Clearview Today show. You can also do that by downloading the Date the Word app. You can get it for free on iPhone or Android right now. We're going to leave a link in the description of this show. Ryan, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How you doing?
I've been better.
I've been better. I'm good. I'm not well.
100%. I have been better. I was disrespected this morning in the most egregious way.
What happened?
Well, first and foremost, let me welcome all our listeners to the Grapevine. Welcome to the Grapevine. Doink. I was made a sandwich this morning.
Oh.
I'm not going to say who made it, but there's 4 people in my house. I didn't make it. I would never do this. My 2 sons they can't make it, so they're little. So I'm not going to say who made it.
Who's to say it was? Who was?
It was a grilled cheese sandwich, which is one of my favorites.
Sure. Solid.
I especially love it for breakfast. It's kind of like cheese toast, but
just kind of like cheese toast that's hugging itself.
Yeah, it's just hugging. That's it. Yeah, just cheese toast with a little high five in the middle.
Sure.
2 end pieces.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to give you a grapevine here. If you're going to make someone a sandwich, you don't give them, and not just like a wife to a husband. If you're going to make anybody a sandwich, not just a wife to a husband, if you're going to make somebody else a sandwich, you don't give them the end pieces unless you want to disrespect them.
Right.
It's disrespectful to give someone the end piece of bread. And I don't know why that is, but I know in my heart that it's true.
Yeah, typically in our house, we'll just toss that in pieces.
Yes, of course.
You just kind of reach around them and then just boop. Just
nobody's eating
now,
the
if you're
end pieces.
Like desperate and there's nothing left, like, hey, I'm so sorry, what we had left were the end pieces.
Well,
hey, no problem. Thank you for making me a sandwich.
So fair enough. I would say you can eat the end piece if you're making it for yourself. Like if I'm making it, I'm like, all right, I really want this sandwich. I hate it, but I'm just going to eat the end piece. But it's like, hey, do you want a sandwich? Yeah, I really do. Cool, I'll make you one. And then to give you the end piece, we gotta.
I would ask. I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize all we have left are the end pieces. Are you still okay? Do you still want me to make you a sandwich?
They'd be like, ew, Ryan,
well, I guess. No, okay. That's why I asked. Didn't know if you still wanted a sandwich.
They're like, let's just order pizza.
Okay. For breakfast?
Yeah, for breakfast.
Sure.
Would you eat the end piece off a sandwich? Nope. Would you eat the end piece off a sandwich? If someone gave y'all, I'm asking David and Nicholas, if someone gave y'all the end piece, that'd be disrespect, right?
How
you treat them?
Let me ask you this: how well? And I know that we're talking about a specific scenario, but
sure.
Hypothetically, if somebody were to make an end piece sandwich, how well do I know this person?
Okay, so great point.
If I don't know them very well, I would be like, okay, thank you for making me a sandwich.
Oh.
If I know them very well, like if they're very close to me, I would be like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I agree 100%. If you know me and we're close in life and you're giving me the end pieces off the bread, like you wouldn't eat that crusty, musty,
so
dried up old bread.
Why are you giving it to me?
And now you're going to put it on my plate.
That's what I'm saying.
And then here's the thing. I look over and the kids have nice, clean, pristine grilled cheese sandwiches. Oh, no. I gave Gavin the end piece. I gave him my sandwich, 100%. He's not eating that. I snatched it right off his plate.
I don't think my kids care because they'll straight up make a sandwich with end pieces. I don't think they care.
Little kids,
it's not like we have forced them to have the end pieces or we've tried to like work it. They just were like, hey, it's bread, whatever.
That's why I'm like, why does Gavin have a nice, clean, nice looking grilled cheese sandwich and I've got the end pieces?
Or if you have to make an end piece sandwich, just like maybe you and I are trying to have a sandwich and there's 2 good pieces and 2 end pieces left. Like, let's just each take an end piece.
I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even do that.
I just try to spread it out a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see what Dr. Shah thinks.
Are the in pieces disrespect? Write in and let us know.
It's disrespect. Yes, 100%.
Write in and let us know, 252-582-5028, or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. We'll be back after this.
Hey, what's going on, listeners? My name is John.
And I'm Ellie.
And we just want to take a second and let you know about Dr. Shah's new book on the market right now called Can We Recover the Original Text of the New Testament? Boy, that is a long title.
True, but it's a very simple message. The original text of the New Testament is not only attainable, but there are lots of different ways that scholars go about discovering it.
There's a lot of people out there saying that the original text is lost forever, or that it's hopeless to actually try to find it, or that there's many texts of the New Testament. But alongside Dr. David Allen Black, Dr. Shah has actually compiled papers from some of the world's leading experts in textual criticism, including one written by himself on various methodologies for extracting the original text. And listen, if you're interested in textual criticism, this book is a great introduction to the field.
You can pick up your copy on Amazon, or you can buy it from our church website. That's clearviewbc.org. We're going to leave a link in the description box so you can get your copy today.
Love that. Ellie, let's hop back in.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. If you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028.
That's right, and we're here once again in the Clearview Today studio with Dr. Abadan Shah, who's a PhD in New Testament textual criticism. Dr. Shah, we had a discussion today on respect, admiration, just being treated like a decent human being. And I wanted to know if someone, let's say Nicole or David or someone else, if someone made you a sandwich and both pieces of bread, not one, but both pieces of bread are in pieces.
Right.
Is that disrespect? Do you feel like you've been disrespected?
I am going to eat it and just think that, it's just that other people didn't want it and they just kept taking the middle pieces. And so that was left. Hey, it is life. But internally,
Yeah, dude, I knew it.
I would wonder, why is it that I get treated this way?
Or
Yes.
let me ask you this. Let's say let's say y'all are all on vacation together.
Right.
Rebecca's there, Abigail's there, the boys are there, everybody's there, your whole family's there. Everybody else's sandwiches look normal, and Daddy's is got the two end pieces.
I won't be like angry, but it will spoil my mood a little bit.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
It feels
It's
targeted.
disrespectful.
It feels
Yeah.
disrespectful.
It's disrespect, and I don't think it's just a man thing. It's disrespectful for anybody to get the end
It is.
pieces. But if you're going to do it, give them to the kids.
Right.
Well, can I share a story?
Yeah, please.
This totally throws your segue out of the way.
It's completely fine.
It's gone now.
It's fine.
So years ago, when we moved from the parsonage, bought our own home, and God really blessed us. We were able to do that. And one reason to move out of the parsonage was, of course, the neighborhood had really gone downhill. Not that we minded the people who actually owned their homes, but what was happening was a lot of times people were coming into the neighborhood who had ulterior motives.
Yeah.
We almost had a break-in. It was just terrible.
Yeah.
And so we bought a house. Thank God for that. It was wonderful, and that's where we live now. Then our kids are going to Christian school, so that added cost and all that. So it was a tough year. But a good friend of mine had told me, this is going to be like this. Hang in there. You're going to go through a season where it'll seem like you are going to be broke your whole life. This is as good as it gets. Don't think that. Just know that this is part of what a lot of us have to go through. You're going to come out of it. I say all that to say, when Christmas came, I knew that. I knew this was going to happen, where we won't have much to give to each other. So Nicole, of course, we said we're going to prioritize the children. We're going to give them clothes, shoes, whatever they need. It'll be a big deal. For us, hey, we'll get something small.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
Right.
Something small.
Right.
Sure.
I can give me a $5 gift card.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. What Nicole did was she went and bought some movies for the kids
Okay.
and gave them to me.
Wait, built movies for the kids and gave them to you?
Gave them to me as a Christmas present. I'm like, what is this?
What
He
was
said,
it?
This is it was
Like kids movies?
kids movies. Maybe they were Marvel. Maybe one of them was a Marvel.
But clearly something that was for the
Disney.
kids.
Yeah, for the kids. Like, this is your gift, and I open them like, is it a mistake? She's like, no, this
He
is
said, "Is this a mistake?"
this is for you. I mean, of course, we're gonna all watch it together.
Sure, of course.
this
So
is-
not really for you, but for
This is Captain America: The First Avenger, the worst one.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, we had agreed that we have to do this. We don't have much money. This is how it's gonna be. But it was very disrespectful.
Yeah, of course.
I said, why did you give me the kids' movies? Wait.
She's looking at you like, don't.
Yeah, but this is how we're gonna gift. I was like, no, that's not true.
No,
Get
no.
to the store
No,
right
no,
now and go get me a
You could
Christmas.
have got me a pair of socks.
Yeah,
Right.
something I can use.
something
Yes.
for me. Don't give me
When am I-
someone else's present.
Yeah,
That's
when
right.
am I gonna come in here and be like, you know what I really want? I want to sit down with a DVD that Nicole gave me of a kid, one
Yeah.
of the Marvel movies,
Yeah.
and just watch it.
Exactly. So that was kind of like the bread thing.
Yeah, that's 100%. You don't give family like gifts that everybody can use. That's not the like anybody can go watch a DVD.
Yeah.
You don't give that.
Yeah,
as a
you
gift
should
for
treat
your spouse.
you should treat
Nicole,
your
shame
family,
on you.
your spouse a little bit better than that.
There it is. It was delayed.
Delayed. It was delayed because it was so upset.
Yeah, don't-
The sound effect was so upset.
Don't give your spouse the kid's gift. Don't give your spouse the end pieces of bread. And
Right.
speaking of bread, we actually have a bread-related question today.
Okay.
And I wanted to just let you know what time it was, Ryan. Oh, here it comes, brother. I'm going to turn the volume up for you. Hit him, Ryan.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
Mail. Yeah, we got some mail from Martin K. You want to read it?
Sure.
Yeah, you can read it. It's right here.
Martin K wants to know, I come from a church that used to do communion every single Sunday. It was very traditional. I'm now at a church that does communion every fifth Sunday, sometimes even less frequently. Part of me feels as though it diminishes the sacrament, but I also know that the communion itself isn't holy. I'm struggling to let go of the tradition because I genuinely enjoyed it. Thanks for answering. Love the show. Shout out from Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, thank you for writing in, Martin.
Okay.
I didn't know that churches actually did the communion every Sunday.
Yeah.
Like there are some
yeah.
churches out there that do
So
that.
I guess his question is
Yes.
like the frequency of communion, more or less, does it matter?
Well, in his question, he used the word sacrament. Okay, so that sort of
Right.
tells us how he views the communion.
Yeah.
There's a difference between sacrament and ordinance. Ordinance, I mean, just sort of the word itself is something that Jesus ordered us to do. Right. Okay,
Right.
the mindset behind it is this is done in obedience. Sacraments has sacred value.
Yeah.
So the idea is when I take part of this, then it does something for me.
Good point. Good
So
point. I
that's
wouldn't
why-
have even thought of that.
That's why people focus on we got to do the communion more often because I need this.
Because it's actually sacred.
It is sacred.
sacred act.
Now, what level of sacredness? Some people believe that this really gives you some spiritual blessing. Others believe that it sort of connects you to Christ more. Some even believe as much as, it protects you and heals you and gives you vitality and all of that stuff. And if you believe that, of course, I don't think the communion is a sacrament.
Right.
But I don't think it's as cheap as what we've made it out to be.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's
Let's
true.
stick to the text. If you read 1 Corinthians chapter 11, the text tells us that it's, because they were mistreating the Lord's table, hence many are weak, sick, and some asleep, means dead. So it's more than just some order that Jesus gave without any significance. It's more than that.
Yeah, that's true.
There is some value to it. There is some spirituality behind it. So I think the answer is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So I would encourage our
Martin.
friend Martin to, of course, some of the Baptist churches have almost diminished the Lord's Supper to like once a month, once a year, or twice a year, and that's so not right.
Yeah.
Or, in some of these sacramental type churches where it is almost every week that it has lost its significance or taken on a new significance, which was never intended in the Bible.
True.
Yeah. That's a good distinction. I need to do this because Jesus commanded me to versus I need to do this because of what it accomplishes for me.
I really love the way we do it at Clearview. I don't know, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you keep up with the calendar a lot more than us, but we do it to where, is there like a set time? Like, is it every fifth Sunday, or is it every is it like once a quarter or something like that?
It's not like exactly on the dot. Usually it's about every 6 weeks. But we'll have communion for special events too. Like we do communion on Christmas Eve service, or we do communion on Good Friday. So there are some other times, or Easter. So there are some other times that it's a little bit more frequent, or it'll be kind of, maybe these periods will be
3 weeks
stretched out or
between 3 weeks. Yeah.
The reason I like it the way we do it is because it's special. It feels special, but it's not rare.
Yeah.
It's not a rare thing.
Right. That's how it should be.
Like, oh wow, we're doing communion. Okay, that's it's spaced out enough to where it feels special. Like this is not your average ordinary Sunday.
Right.
At the same time, it's not like, what is this? I don't know what this is.
Right. I don't have any memory of doing this in recent memory.
So I do have a couple of stories. One of them I wanted to tell was when I was a kid, before I got saved. I was a little kid, maybe like Gavin's age, maybe a little older, but my grandmother grew up in a Methodist church, and so she took me, and they did communion one time, and you had to go up to the front, and he would give you a piece of like actual bread, and they had a cup, and I'm not joking, they would dip it in the grape juice and swallow it. And I saw the people in front of me doing it, and I remember I was a real picky eater as a kid. I was like, I don't want to do that. And I was like going up in the line and getting more and more scared. And then I went and took it, and I was like, maybe I can just... And I went to go eat it, and the guy at the front was like, no, you could just dip. And I was like, I don't want to. And I remember me being like, dip it in the cup. And I did dip it and hold it in my mouth. I was so scared to swallow the soggy bread. Did y'all do it like that when you were growing up?
No, it was never dip and swallow. It was more my dad would, of course, preach a message, and usually it was at the end of the message. Either the message would lead into the communion, or it would be, a whole different message that has nothing to do with the communion, but communion was added on as okay, this is Communion Sunday. And my dad would then invite the men to come first. And they would come, and our pulpit looked different. It looked like a lot of the country churches have the pulpit, where you can actually go and kneel up front. So they would come and they would kneel across, so we could see them, kneeling. And then my dad would walk from one end to the other in front of them. So we could see my dad, but then we could see all these men in front of him, and give each one a bread. And he would say each time, this is the bread of Jesus' body broken for you, and all the way in. And then he would stop at the end and then say, partake of this together, knowing that this represents the bread of the body of Jesus broken for you. Then he would pick up the tray, the communion tray, and then begin again from that end and make his way all the way, giving each one a cup. And then he would stop at the end, and then he would say, recognizing that this is the cup of the new covenant in his blood, let's partake of it together.
Is there a set way to do it, or like for instance, when there's a cadence that you do when you do the communion,
right?
That it's kind of easy to, I don't want to say it's predictable, but it's the cadence, and your did you model it after your dad's way of doing it, or did you kind of form it on your own? Was it intentional? Is it something that we just kind of tried until it worked?
I kind of blended how I grew up with how I saw it over here, because I'm very strong on the context in which ministry is being done. So I wanted to know how people here expected the communion to be. Of course, I'm not sacramental, so there are some lines there that I'm not going to get into.
Sure.
So I'm not going to have you come and put it in your mouth and all that because they put it in your mouth because you're not supposed to touch it.
The person with the bread puts it in your mouth. They feed you the bread.
Is that how you grew up?
No. I've just seen that done.
I've never seen that.
Especially in Catholic churches, you go up forward and they'll give it.
What would you do if you did that and someone bit you a little bit?
I would slap it. In Jesus' name.
That's fine.
Go in peace, yes, or not.
Go in peace
Depart
or not.
from
But don't
me.
you ever do that
I never
again.
knew you.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because the very first time I ever came, it's also like some of the cadences like differ, but really in minute ways. Like the church, when I did get saved, the church I was in, they would give it to you and you just went on ahead and ate it like as they gave it to you. So then I came here to Clearview, and I remember, I'll never forget, it was so funny. I took it And communion, it's somber. You want to do it right, and you want to. That's not a time where you want to stand out because it's silent, it's reflective. So I took it out of the thing and I just popped it right in my mouth. Here at Clearview, everybody waits, then we all do it together.
Right.
But the very first time I ever did, I took it and I just put it in my mouth, and Rebecca and Abigail both were like, "Huh?" And I remember Abigail was like, she leaned over and was like, "Take that out," but it was already chewed up. I was like, "I can't take it out." She was like, "You're supposed to wait." I was like, okay, I'll wait. I'll wait. But I remember the look those two girls gave me. They were like,
well, the question is, I mean, how did y'all grow up? And I know you had different experiences.
Yeah.
Because you had the early experience of going to one kind of church, and then you have a different. We're not going to mention the names of the churches,
Sure.
but how was it for you first?
the first time that first time where you dip it in, I only did that once in my life. I was a little kid, and I wasn't regularly going to that church. That was just a memory from childhood. It was pretty much identical to how we do it here, which is the ushers will pass it out. The only difference between how we do it here is as soon as you get it, you just go on ahead and partake. And then you just kind of sit and wait for everyone else to get it, and then they would. But here we do it almost identical, other than we all wait, we get it, and then Dr. Shah says at this time, let's partake of the bread together, and we all do it together.
Yeah.
That was the only difference. Otherwise, it was pretty identical.
Growing up, I grew up in Southern Baptist churches, so it was largely similar to the way we do it here. The ushers will come, pass the plates and everything. One thing I appreciate about the communion that we do here as opposed to the way we grew up is the wafers we have here are real thin. The ones we had growing up were still wafers, but they were really thick. So when you would bite, it was almost like biting a mint. So you would hear the pastor say, "Let's partake of it together," but then everybody crunches down on it at the same time. So it's like,
Yeah, I remember at another church or the church I was at before, we had a problem. I don't know, and I didn't know how to feel about it. I was in the youth, but I wasn't doing this. But they would use oyster crackers.
yeah.
So after communion, the teenagers and the students would all be in the kitchen, snacking on them out of the communion plates. And I remember people didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wasn't in that, but I was like,
So basically, would you say it was similar?
Very similar.
Like what we do here?
Pretty similar. There was a church that I was a part of before coming to Clearview where families would come down front, and we would all get the cup. I mean, you would have the individual cups, but there were loaves of bread that you would kind of take a piece of bread off, and you would pray together as a family at the front, and then go back to your seat. And there was sort of like music playing, but it was self-led. Like you kind of did this on your own,
Like a self-service, like
like a buffet, like a communion buffet.
Yeah, or like Walmart. It's like this is you can go
this
through
is
a line or
self-checkout
you
line.
can self-checkout.
This is the self-communion line. But it was odd doing it alone because it's supposed to be we're all doing it together, but it was kind of independent at the same time.
Right.
And it also took so long.
Yeah,
Really?
true.
So, it was like it was the church service and then service again for communion because you just kind of went.
Could you leave once you're done?
No.
Yes.
I mean, I guess you could, but nobody did because it was kind of like, oh, why are they leaving in the middle of communion? Because we've been here for 45 minutes now.
Dr. Shah preached a sermon not long ago on 1 Corinthians, when the last time we did communion, and it was about how they were in the triclinium and they were lounging and they were like getting drunk and all this stuff. That same Sunday, we were talking to a woman who's going to start our translation ministry here, where basically she sits in a room and she listens to the sermon and translates it into Spanish.
Yeah,
And then
it's pretty
people
awesome.
who don't know, it is, and people who don't speak English can come in. They can listen to that translation, still enjoy the service. So I was talking
in
to
real
her
time. They can
in
hear
real time.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to her about the room that we're setting up in the new building. I was like, we're going to have, there's going to be a door here. There'll be a TV. There'll be a little couch, a little seating area. And so when they do communion, they'll come in. She was like, I just heard a sermon on this. I don't want to be in the triclinium, like kicking my feet up, relaxing, taking the Lord's Supper. She was like, I feel like it was the same size. She was like, I feel like we just heard a sermon on this. I don't need a couch. I don't need a comfortable chair.
That's funny.
Three couches.
Yeah. She was like, she was like, can we call the room the triclinium? I was like, probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean it's and she came from the West Coast, so
true.
things were different over there too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's also. How about you, David?
In my 16, 17 years of being at that church, I don't remember ever taking communion.
You didn't
Really?
have communion at all?
Not to my knowledge.
Was communion something that got introduced to you here?
I knew about it because it's biblical, but it's not something that we ever took.
How did you know about it?
Because, the Lord's Supper in 1 Corinthians and stuff like that, but it wasn't anything that
That you had seen lived out, like
performed,
practiced?
right.
Wow.
You'd never seen it in action.
No.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Never.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. That's
The
insane.
majority of the world, the Christian world, has done it. David didn't.
Yeah, that's
what is this?
That's insane.
Wow.
I really
Yeah.
Heard of
truly
this.
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that's surprising.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like an ordinance that people did. And I mean, even the same with baptism, it was like once or twice every year or two we had baptisms.
Wow.
So it was the same thing. Like doing things like baptism and communion frequently is not something that I remember at all.
When you do a radio show like this, sometimes you have to pretend to be surprised by things. Like just for the show, you'd be like, "Oh wow, really? I genuinely."
No,
had
I'm genuinely
I
shocked
had no
by
clue
that. Wow.
you had never.
Yeah.
Wow.
The tradition, I guess, that he came from did not have that.
So I get kind of going back to Martin's question, because I think there was a lot of it where it was like, I really just enjoyed this tradition. And is it wrong to enjoy the tradition? You know what I mean?
I don't think it's wrong to enjoy the tradition, and I don't think we should be against tradition.
Yeah.
Sometimes the pendulum swings in such a direction where anytime you say the word tradition, oh my gosh, no. And
Flee!
It's, read the Bible. It talks about don't, take away the old landmarks, that your fathers have set. So tradition is part of the landmarks of Christianity.
Right.
Communion, this is a tradition. It's a family meal. So don't take it down so quickly. I would also say that the idea of taking the communion so you can have spiritual blessings is not right. I don't think that's really what's intended there. Like, it doesn't give you any supernatural power.
Yeah.
It may bring you closer to Christ in your understanding and in your growth when you truly submit to the requirements of the communion. Also, the family thing that they're doing, maybe it's novel, maybe it's cool to do that, but really it's a biblical family meal.
Right. That's
Which
right.
means we all take it together, and it's not supposed to be individuals. That's why sometimes people have this, can you come and do a communion with so-and-so because they're dying or something like that. And I do it,
Sure.
but I don't know what they're intending by that.
Yeah.
We have couples, when they are getting married, they want to do communion. I'm not against it, and I'll do it. Personally, I would suggest do it for the whole group.
Yeah.
Right.
Just let's all do it. Let's
all
just do
take
it at the ceremony.
But then they want to do it just between them two and me, although I'm not doing it just them two, which I think it has a meaning because Christ is the head of the home. He's part of the life. But you don't need a communion for that.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it gives them meaning, I do it. I'm like, sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a beautiful ceremony
Yeah.
in the wedding. So some couples have done it. Some don't. And I don't say you should do the communion. How dare you not do the communion
Yeah.
in your wedding?
That's a good
Like,
point.
no, I don't think you have to.
That's a great way to think about it. Is it's not harmful or
Right.
bad to
and if
do
they
it.
don't, if they do it, it doesn't mean like, oh my goodness, you're so awful for doing this.
Right.
No.
But it's just sort of like a misapplication or a misunderstanding of what communion is supposed to be.
I wouldn't even say misapplication. Maybe it is because I'm trying to be as nice as possible.
Yeah.
Because
Not in a
in
wrong
case
way.
someone's
Like,
listening.
not you're wrong for doing that. Because Elizabeth and I we did communion at our wedding.
Really?
But yeah, between the two of
Excommunicate
us.
him.
I was going to say,
Excommunicate him.
get out of here right now. I didn't know
happened?
that.
Yeah, we
Nothing
did.
played.
The two
Yeah,
of us.
I don't know what the world is or something like that. Yeah, you got to get the soundboard back up.
Bruh.
Yeah, I'll just do it for you. Bruh.
But I mean, understanding it now in light of what it's meant to be a family meal, I wish we had done it with the entire
Church.
church that was
Or,
there.
weddings.
That would have been even more special.
That's insane. I've been shocked twice today because I didn't know that communion was something that people did in their weddings.
Yeah.
Now I've
Yeah,
learned
we did
not
that.
only is it something that people do, but you did. I didn't
we
know
did.
that.
We did it. Mhm.
Well, so be it.
Do you have anything you want to shock us with today?
Yeah, there it is.
That's the bruh.
No, I don't have
Okay,
anything.
any shocking revelations
I
about
think
your
I'm the
past?
normalest Christian that
Okay,
ever lived.
well, very vanilla
we
Christian.
need to talk about communion more. Maybe
Yeah.
another show.
Let's
would
do
be
it.
good.
Let's do
Yeah.
it maybe on tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
yeah. That would be great. So helpful for us in understanding and clarifying what communion is, what it's not, and how we can apply it to our lives. Today was helpful for you. Write in and let us know, 252-582-5028, or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Don't forget you can partner with us financially on that same website. Scroll to the bottom, click that donate button, and let us know it's coming from our Clearview Today Show family. Lots of great content coming your way the rest of this week. Make sure you guys tune in. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow on Clearview Today.